Liverpool arrive at the Emirates for the second time in 2024, having already knocked Arsenal out of the FA Cup. If Jurgen Klopp's side can win again today in North London, it would leave with the Gunners a huge amount of work to do in the Premier League title race. And Klopp faces Arsenal for the 23rd and final time as a Liverpool manager. Arsenal against Liverpool is a 4:30 kickoff. Very good afternoon to you. Welcome along to Matchday Live. We will get the thoughts of Gary Gillespie and David James in just a moment. But let's head straight off to North London and join Ray Houghton. And first, Mark Benstead.
Thank you, Rob. Well, this is the 200th league meeting between these two sides, and it could be a significant one in this season's title race. There have been two matches between the sides this season so far. Ray Houghton has been at both. From what you've seen, what is the big danger, the big quality of this Arsenal outfit?
Well, when they came to Anfield in the league game, I've got to say, I thought they were exceptional, particularly early on in the game. I thought the game plan worked really well. The pressurised Liverpool high up the pitch, won the ball back in good areas, got the early goal. Actually, maybe could have went on and got a second goal, which made it much more difficult for Liverpool to get back into the game. But credit to Liverpool, they came back really well, really strongly, got the equaliser, and maybe went on to win it themselves when Trent had that chance which hit the top of the crossbar. But overall, I thought technically and tactically, it's the best game I've seen this season. And I expect him very similar today. In this stadium today, Mark, at the moment, I've got to tell you, there's anticipation in the air, isn't there? You can really feel it. The Liverpool boys are out there already getting ready for the game. They'll know the starting 11. The players that are in that 11 will be really ready for it. They've got to be ready for a fight. First and foremost, be ready for what Arsenal's going to bring to you early on. This home support knows Arsenal need a result today. They need a win, really, any chance of winning the league this season. A draw will keep them in it. If they were to lose today, an 8-point gap, very difficult for them to get that gap down to where they can actually go above Liverpool come the end of the season.
You know it's a big game when the press room is as packed as it is today. It is standing room only. In terms of where Liverpool find themselves, at this stage last season, they were 19 points behind the Gunners. They're now 5 ahead. What have they done to close that gap and improve so much?
Well, it's not just the start of this season. We've got to remember what happened at the back end of the last season. Lost to Manchester City on the 1st of April, and from then on, really solid performance. Didn't lose a match in the league. That shows you the quality that Liverpool have got. They've added, with some new players coming in, they've hit the ground running as far as getting into the team, doing exceptionally well. Youngsters have come through, managers brought them into the side, and they've worked really, really well. What Liverpool have got now is a side and a squad that are very committed together, that go into every game believing that they're going to win football matches. And it's only against Manchester United where they haven't scored a goal this season. Just shows you the quality that's there. They're never out of a game. There's always this belief that they're going to score in games, and that's great to have, and it puts a seed of doubt in the opposition that you're playing against.
As you mentioned, a chance for Liverpool to go 8 points clear of the Gunners here today. What would that do for the Tigers? Would that make it a two-horse race?
Well, it's a very difficult question, that, because you never know what's going to happen. But just on the form that Liverpool are showing, and the form we know that Man City will produce over the coming games, yes, you would say it would become a two-horse race. Arsenal have just got to keep believing that the football they're playing is more than good enough. It'll be an interesting game today. I can't wait for the start of it. I think this stadium's going to be absolutely electric. It's just who handles the occasion. That's what you'll be looking at.
In terms of team news, what's the big decisions being made by Jurgen, do you think, today?
Well, obviously, we know with Conor Bradley, is he going to play or not? That's one of the decisions that's got to be made. And then he's going to have to look at Liverpool have played 7 games in January. 7 games. Arsenal have played 3/4. I'll give them 4 because they played on the 31st of December. So it was just on the cusp of January. But that's 3 games more Liverpool have played. So the manager will be looking to utilise his squad as best he can. And he's done that game after game after game. And you know what? He's got it right more often than not.
It's tended to be the case through the course of his time at the club as well. OK, yeah, it is a huge game here at the Emirates. You can tell that by the feel around the stadium. Team news will be crucial with the details of both starting 11s very shortly.
Mark, Ray, thank you very much indeed. Good afternoon, Gary. Good afternoon, David.
Evening, Rob.
Evening.
Evening, sorry.
Afternoon. Time is getting away from you already, Gary. Let's start with reflecting on a couple of things we heard from Mark and Ray there. Particularly, David, your ears pricked up when Mark said it could become a two-horse race for the title, and you already think it is, do you?
Yeah, I think it's been a two-horse race for a little while, actually. I do appreciate that Arsenal are a decent side, and especially at the Emirates, they can be very tricky. But for the course and distance, I think Liverpool this season, I think we've had this conversation before, from the beginning I felt Liverpool will be in this title argument, and Manchester City are in the argument every season. So, yeah, Liverpool, Manchester City.
Would you agree, Gary?
Well, I think if you look back to the start of the season, nobody was really talking about Liverpool, in all fairness. It was all about Arsenal and Manchester City. I was always of the belief, and I still am, even last season, I thought Manchester City and Liverpool were the two best teams in the Premier League. There was mitigating circumstances, Liverpool's performance last season. I think key players at key stages of the season were missing when they got them back, and I mean the two guys up front. I think that made a difference with Diaz and Jota coming back into the setup. So I always believed that Liverpool had a real good chance to press Manchester City all the way at the start of the season. And it probably did them a favour that nobody was actually talking about them. What I think will happen, and it might not happen, but I think it will be quite close all the way up to about March or April time, end of March, beginning of April. And then I think what you'll see is like the cream coming to the top and moving away from the rest of them. And then I think it'll be a two-horse race between Manchester City and Liverpool.
It was really interesting when you arrived today and you said, still a long way to go. And you don't sort of feel that because teams are getting towards, 15 matches, those who played yesterday, most of them have got 15 games. It feels like we are entering the final stretch. But you think, as you said, a lot of hard work to be done to prove you're in the mix come the middle of April.
Yeah, I think so. I think it always is the case. I think certainly when we were playing, there was nothing talked about winning titles in February or January. You waited till after Easter, and then that was really when it got down to the real serious stuff. As I say, there's a heck of a lot of football to be played. You look at Liverpool, you've got the Carabao Cup final, you've got FA Cup. You're not sure like how far Liverpool are going to go in that. Then throw in the Europa League and the Champions League as well for the teams that are in the Champions League. So there's a heck of a lot of football still to be played, and there's so much can happen with regards to suspension, injuries. You're never quite sure what to predict. But in saying that, the course and distance runners are certainly Manchester City and Liverpool.
And how impressed have you been with Liverpool's form this calendar year, David? All without Mo Salah since New Year's Day. And fine run of results, scoring huge amounts of goals at the moment as well, looking as though they're just really starting to flex their muscles a little bit. Yeah,
as I say, I was confident from the beginning of the season Liverpool would do well. I just felt that the transfer business was good. Losing certain players actually enhanced the change room in a sense, and like you mentioned, since 2024, no Mo, but no problem. I mean, the balance is there, and I think you made a good point with regards to injuries. Diogo Jota, when he's not playing for Liverpool, Liverpool don't play particularly great. They're not at their best. When he's available, not saying he has to play every game, but for some reason when he's fit and available, Liverpool play great football, and he's done that for years since he's been here. So getting him back on the goals has been important. Ray mentioned there before about the young players coming in. Conor Bradley coming in, he looks like he's been in for seasons. I mean, the young player who's new to the team this season has looked like he's been there for seasons. Quansah's another one. I just think this is a change room where the Jurgen picks a team and the team say, thank you very much, we'll go and do what you want us to do. And that is a rare thing to have in a football club.
You talked about how you viewed certain things in changing rooms, how you view title races. How do you view winning at one of your big rivals? Did that always feel, if you can go particularly away from home and win at a ground like Arsenal, that was massive in the course of a season? Yeah,
absolutely huge. I think you look at certain games throughout the course of the season. At the beginning of the season, you probably look at the fixture list and think, well, that could be key, that game. And obviously Arsenal are up there challenging again. It's always been a big club to go to, Arsenal, regardless of where they are in the league. A bit like Tottenham as well. And certainly Manchester United have got to be in that equation as well. So, I think it's a fixture that you look at and you think, well, there's goals in these games as well. I think history dictates that as well. I think it's most of the goals in the Premier League in this fixture ever. So, I think we're in for a cracking game, and hopefully Liverpool can just come out on top. But I do think both teams will score, and I think it's going to be goals in the game.
Well, let's find out which players will be involved in what we hope is a cracking game down in North London. Mark and Ray have the team news for you.
Thank you, Rob. The big news for Liverpool is that Trent Alexander-Arnold returns to the side as one of 3 changes from the team that were so emphatic victors against Chelsea in midweek. A Liverpool line-up as follows then. It's Alisson, Becker in goal, the back four of Trent Alexander-Arnold, Ibu Konate, Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez, who retains his place once again at left-back despite Andy Robertson being fit and available. It's Ryan Gravenberch, Alexis McAllister and Curtis Jones in the middle, with Diogo Jota, Cody Gakpo and Luis Diaz playing as the front three. Gakpo has started in all 3 games against the Gunners this season. On the bench, it's Adrian, Kelleher, Thiago returns for the first time this season. It's Nunez, fit to be part of the subs despite that foot problem. Elliott, Robertson, McConnell and Kwanzaa. Clark, the other sub, on the bench for the Reds. Arsenal were there forced into a couple of changes. The most notable is that Gabriel Jesus is injured and unavailable tonight, meaning Kai Havertz plays through the middle. Jorginho drops into midfield in the place of Emile Smith-Rowe. So a couple of changes from the side that lined up against Nottingham Forest in that 2-1 win last time out. The team in full then is Raya in goal, Alexander Zinchenko at left back. It is Gabriel and then William Saliba as the 2 centre-halves. Ben White at right back. Jorginho, Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard are the midfield 3. It'll be Gabriel Martinelli off the right, Bukayo Saka off the right, Kai Havertz through the middle. On the bench, Ramsdale, Emile Smith-Rowe, Nketiah, Kivor, Trossard, Nelson, Elneny and the teenage defender Walters. Well, let's start, I think, with the host. No Gabriel Jesus today. How big a boost is that for Liverpool? How does it change the way they play with Havertz through the middle?
Yeah, well, look, Jesus is a really energetic player. You know, he likes to run in behind as well to stretch the opposition. Havertz isn't that type. He likes to get involved in the build-up play a little bit more. Both of them, although we've not seen often as probably in previous seasons for the variety of clubs that they played for. It's the midfield though where I would be a little slightly concerned with for Arsenal, because I think a little bit weaker. Because when you've got Jorginho in there with Declan Rice, I think they're 2 sitters, so it changes the balance and the makeup of your midfield 3. Odegaard will be given that licence to get forward, but unless Declan's going to be that one that moves into a more advanced position, where Jorginho's sitting a little bit deeper, it'll be interesting to see the makeup of it, and that's where Liverpool, I think, have to pounce on it. That's an area you have to control and you have to get the upper hand in the centre of midfield, and if Liverpool can do that, they'll create chances.
William Saliba makes his 50th Premier League appearance for Arsenal today. How difficult is he to get past? The win percentage with him in the side far better than without. He's been a very shrewd bit of business for him.
I don't think it's just him though. I really like the pairing. I think Gabriel and Saliba really do well as a pair. You know, they bounce off of each other, know their strengths and know their weaknesses, they work in tandem, so they're really solid in front of that the keeper, and Declan coming back to help out as well, or it could be Jorginho, but they'll have that protection in front of the back four. It's about their mentality. What's Arsenal's mentality? There's more pressure on Arsenal and Liverpool. Why? Because they know if they lose today, 8 points is absolutely huge. So what are they going to be like today? Are they going to be fearless and take the game to Liverpool? Get this home support behind them, get a few chances early on, try and take 1 or 2 of them, which they didn't do in the FA Cup match when they played here. So it'll be intriguing to see the first 20 minutes and how it pans out and who gets.
In terms of Liverpool, I mean, Gakpo back in yet again against Arsenal. Why do you think Jurgen likes him in this fixture?
Well, because I think Gabriel and Saliba are quick, so I think try to play the ball over the top when you play with Darwin, that might not be on today. So you're going to have to bring them into false positions. So you want to come short, which brings the centre-halves closer up to you, and that might leave gaps in behind. And that's where Liverpool might get a little bit joy playing that way. And Cody, look, he's done well. He's a good player technically, very, very good. Can hold the ball up, can bring others into the game. I'd just like to see him get into the box a little bit more often. You know, when he's done his good work and he lays the ball off wide, his job now is to get into the 18-yard box and try and finish off the crosses that are coming in. Because now that Trent's in the side, you've got a different dimension. Trent's a little bit different to Corner. He won't always be up and down the line. He'll come into that inverted central position, get on the ball and then start, you know, hitting diagonals for the wide players on the Liverpool side as well. The balance of the team looks really good. Mentality's good. They've just got to first 20 minutes quieten this home support down, and if they do that, just build themselves into the game, which they've done here in the FA Cup, and we've seen what they did there with the created chances in the second half.
How crucial is the battle on either side between our fullbacks and their wide players? They've got wide players who hug the touchline.
It's going to be fascinating, isn't it? Really is going to be fascinating. For both sets, you know, how did Ben White and Zinchenko hold on to, you know, Liverpool's wide players as well, because Liverpool likes to break down the flanks as well. So how do they defend that side?
Is it bravery? Is it who's the bravest? Is that what decides it?
Well, no, it's not just about taking chances. You know, you can't do that all the time. You're up against two of the best teams in world football. Never mind in the English Premier League at the moment, in world football. They could go and compete against anyone, these two sides. That's the quality that they've got. But, you know, in these games they've been so tight, so tense, so much at stake. It might come down to a piece of individual brilliant play or a mistake. So we'll wait and see. I hope it's brilliant play and it's a Liverpool player gets on the ball and makes something happen. But it's going to be a fantastic occasion. Both teams are very evenly matched in many respects, and it should be a cracking game.
It should be. In terms of today, the away record has improved massively, of course, this season. As many points they had last time, this time round. Has that been crucial, the fact that they're so good away from home?
Like Liverpool just considers full stop. Every game they go into, they believe they're going to win. You know, and that's not arrogance, that's just how good they've been performing at the moment. You've got a squad of players who believe in each other. That's reflected when they go into the field to play, and you know they're never out of a game because of the firepower in this Liverpool side. I'm expecting goals in the match because I think we've got so much quality on show. There has to be some goals in the game.
Thank you, Ray. Worth just pointing out, no Conor Bradley's there. That is because, sadly, his father passed away yesterday. Our thoughts, of course, are with him and his family in this difficult moment.
Mark, thank you very much indeed. Yeah, everyone's thoughts are with Conor Bradley and his family after the very sad passing of his father, which means a change, Gary, an enforced change with the vice-captain Trent Alexander-Arnold coming back in. I think it's a testament to Conor Bradley, isn't it, that you would say he's not been missed too much, Trent, and that's saying something given the season he's had.
Well, I think it's down to young Conor Bradley. Had circumstances been different, then I think he would have played today. I don't think there would have been a place for Trent Alexander-Arnold, and you couldn't have said that about like a month ago, could you? All credit to the youngster. He's come in, played exceptionally well in every game that he's played. I think he's been man of the match in most of the games, and then to cap it off, obviously with the goal, was a little bit special. But Trent coming in obviously gives you that experience, gives you that little bit of know-how down the right-hand side as well. He struggled against Martinelli. I think that will be an area of the pitch that Arsenal will look to like isolate him one-on-one with Trent Alexander-Arnold. And if they can do that on a regular basis, then Liverpool could like find themselves a little bit wanting down that right-hand side. But in saying that, with Trent, the way that he moves forward into the middle of the park, his distribution, all the good things that we know that Trent can like deliver, then he gives us something extra as well in the team.
How difficult is the balancing act for a manager, David, between obviously he has two gun players in Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson, but obviously we know about Conor's circumstances today, but someone like Joe Gomez, you would say, has done nothing wrong. So when do you bring someone like Robertson back?
Well, I think in both cases, I mean, the Conor Bradley one's interesting because Trent was coming back and obviously came on the other day, hit the ground running in that sense. I think that was more about the timing for Trent to come back, and circumstances meant that Trent starting today isn't a rush situation, so I don't think that's a problem. I think with Joe Gomez, doing nothing wrong isn't necessarily good enough, but what he's been doing is more than that. He's been doing very well. And I think when you're doing well, you're looking at Andy Robertson saying, OK, well, the game isn't the same as it was when Andy was playing week in, week out, but Liverpool having a success. And as a manager, you say, well, if what we're doing works, why do we need to go back to something that could or might not work again? So at the moment, I think Joe Gomez is proving a lot of people. I'm waiting for him to get a call up for England because I think he's playing that well. Andy Robertson just going to have to chew at the bit.
And actually, with the 23-man squad for the Euros and the fact that he can play all across the defence, is a good option for Gareth Southgate, isn't it?
Yeah, and this is the thing. I think there was a time a couple of years ago, I don't want to sort of play too much on any sort of negativity. It was a couple of years ago with people asking questions. But now you look at him and it's like, Joe, you don't even think about his name being on a team sheet for being the quality that the team needs. Liverpool top of the league, going for a potential quadruple, and he is front and centre of all that. So yes, he could be in the England squad. I'm waiting for the call up for him. And as I say, Andy Roberts will just have to bide his time and pick the odd sub appearance, which is a good thing.
It's interesting with Gomez, isn't it? Because like when he initially came onto the scene, he was a fullback. Then he got in that position alongside Virgil van Dijk as a centre back. And we were talking about Joe Gomez and Virgil van Dijk being that centre back partnership for years and years to come with Liverpool. Then obviously maybe he lacked a little bit, got injured, came back, probably lacked a little bit of confidence. But now, I totally agree with David. I think he's performing exceptionally well, and both left fullback and right fullback as well. So I think he'd be a shoo-in for England to go.
Nice to see this youngster Thiago on the bench. I'm not sure we can expect of
think
him
I've
moving
heard
forward. He's played a couple of games in the past. But what could someone like him give Liverpool in the final months of this season, do you think? Was
that the player that Ray was talking about, came through the academy system?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, having watched Thiago on social media this week, I'm surprised he's not starting. His finishing was absolutely ridiculous. But you've got, again, and I think this is where the blend that Jurgen or the team have at their disposal. You've got the quality, I think as well, which has to be a credit to Jurgen, the medical staff, is the way that injured players have been allowed to get fit before they're getting. I mentioned Trent Alexander before.
And the form helps that, doesn't it? If you're winning, you don't need to rush people back into it as much.
Yeah, and I mean, it's all interlinked, isn't it? Everyone who's been playing has been playing at such a level that they haven't needed to rush anyone back. And I think with Thiago, as I said, watching him on social media, he's ready to play, so therefore he deserves his opportunity on the bench. And if he gets called on, then he'll just score from 25 yards like he did in training.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Just a word on the Arsenal lineup as well, Gary. What does Kai Havertz give you that Gabriel Jesus doesn't, and vice versa? What are they missing without Jesus today?
I'm not 100% sure. I mean, Havertz there's always been questions levelled at Havertz about his finishing ability. I think he's technically quite a good player. He's a little bit of a narc. He'll put himself about. He'll upset players. I think that's what he does do. Personally, I think Jesus is a better player than Havertz. I'm quite happy that he's playing as opposed to Gabriel Jesus. And we saw in the cup game that, I mean, he had opportunities. They had opportunities, Arsenal, early on in that game to really put Liverpool to bed. Didn't take them. I don't think he's a fantastic finisher. As a footballer, I think he's a good footballer. But as a striker and a guy that plays up front, is he going to get you that many goals throughout the course of the season? I don't think so.
Well, lots more to come on Matchday Live between now and kick-off at 4:30. We will hear from both managers, Jurgen Klopp and Mikel Arteta as well, and the Liverpool vice-captain, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Full audio commentary at 4:30. And then all the reaction from down in North London and here in the studio at 6:30. You'll be able to see highlights on Go and LFC TV at 8:30 tonight, and the match in full from midnight, and then all the behind-the-scenes access from North London in a new episode of Inside on Tuesday on our social media platforms. So that is inside the dressing room. Thiago back. It'll be great to see him in a Liverpool shirt again. Darwin Núñez drops to the bench. Can Liverpool win in North London for the second time this season?